honored that you'd asked me to share my testimony today. And it's really not just my testimony, it's a testimony of the Lord and His love and protection. Well, first, just so you know, I'm going to be talking kind of quick because I got a lot to go over, so that's why I'll be speaking kind of fast today. But first, a little history for those of you who don't know me. I've had a lot of heart history. I first got my first stent when I was 43, which was 25 years ago. I now have 16 stents in my heart, which are metal cages to open up blockages. So most of my right coronary is all sealed. And from that, I've naturally had a lot of episodes. But what happened is, first I'm going to tell you what happened, and then I'm going to tell you the miracles that occurred and how God wove several miracles in so that I'm still alive today. I was having some episodes. It's about 3 weeks ago. I called TCI, which is my cardiologist, and they had advised that I was to come in the next morning and get a 48-hour heart monitor. And so I was planning on doing that, but there was a nurse there that was my angel, the Lord's sinner, named Tiffany, and she was the one I was communicating with. And she was very concerned and thought my symptoms were too severe, and they had set me up for 9 o'clock in the morning to have that 48-hour monitor. So she said, can you come in at 8 and we'll have a nurse visit? And I'm also going to give you an EKG. I want to check everything out. So my wife and I went in. I wasn't to drive. And they did an EKG and found out I had what they call a second-degree heart block. And they looked at me and said, well, you need to have emergency surgery. We've got to install a pacemaker right now. So they actually opened up the door, and there was the wheelchair. So I got in a wheelchair. They pushed me through the walkway over into Sparrow Hospital, for those of you who've been there. And I ended up, I was up in pre-op, putting on my robe, and all at once I was a little bit confused, and I all at once felt terrible. And I remember just sitting down. And from this is what I was told happened after that. They said that I'd went into full cardiac arrest and what they call VFib. And my heart just quit pumping blood, and I quit breathing. And they said they did 2 minutes of chest compressions, CPR, and to get the blood flowing. And then they did do the paddles and shocked me. Now, of course, I didn't know what was going on at the time. But afterwards, the doctors told me, and the nurses emphasized, if I'd have been anywhere else except where I was in pre-op, I most likely would have died. The statistics is full cardiac arrest, if it's outside of the hospital and you go into it, is just 3 to 7% live. And most of them have some severe health problems afterwards. And in the hospital, I don't know about you, but I always watched ER, and I thought they brought everybody back. The statistic actually is only 22% of those people that go into cardiac arrest and they shock come back to life. If you think about that, 4 out of 5 don't come back. So that's one of the first miracles of God, of course. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's kind of what happened. Now I want to tell you, kind of like Paul Harvey, those of you that are my age, the rest of the story. The first miracle occurred the Thursday before the Monday that this started happening. And that Wednesday, actually, I had contacted TCI because I was having a lot of chest problems. I discovered from my smartwatch that I had a very low heart rate. My heart rate was in the 40s and sometimes as low as 32. Of course, I was having a lot of symptoms with that. And she said, well, can you come in at 8 tomorrow morning? We'll do that nurse visit. She did that. We went in there. As you know, they did the EKG, and we took off. Now, that's the second miracle. The first one, actually, excuse me, I got out of order there. On the Thursday before, I seen my regular doctor, and had told her what was going on. And there was a medicine I was taking. She said, quit taking that because that can cause the bradycardia, which is the low heartbeat. So I quit taking it. Saturday, I got a message from TCI, and this was Thursday, that said, we want you to try cutting that medicine in half and wait a few days and see how you feel. Okay, that's another miracle. If I would have waited and just, taken that medicine, I would most likely had cardiac arrest at home and died. That's one miracle. because I was able to tell them I already quit last Thursday, so they knew that wasn't the problem. So the next miracle was, as we were going through, there's always procedures in a hospital that you're supposed to follow. And as if you've ever been to Sparrow Hospital, you know when you go in, there's a line there that even the patients have to wait in and get the badge and everything, or the card for your chest. Well, we were waiting in that in the wheelchair, and Tiffany's my angel. And she was a nurse that I was talking with, so she pushed me over. And she said, "John, we can't wait." So she pushed me around everybody, and there's some people that were unhappy, I could tell. And even then, you know, she said, "Do him next." So they asked, you know, "Well, what's your name?" And of course, they got to go slow and get everything. And she finally said, "Hey, you know who I am? We got to go. I got to get him to emergency surgery." So that was the next thing. If I would have sit in that line, I'm told that I probably would have been in cardiac arrest in that line and would have died. So next miracle. So we then go to registration. Nobody there. She pushes a button. A lady comes out, but there's actually a person in front of us. So we try to wait patiently, and of course she starts getting nervous, and she's telling me, "No, we can't do this." So she goes past regulations. She takes off. So at that point, again, I'm up in the room, getting ready to put on my robe. I get confused, and I sit down. The next thing I know, I wake up. I'm sitting there, there's all these faces around me. And so I say, "You're okay. You're going to be all right." I didn't know I wasn't. But in that, I was able to they were able to get across that I had, they had brought me back, they'd done the chest compressions, etc. But the main thing I want to emphasize here, well, one, was a tremendous pain. They had an exterior pacemaker on me to keep my heart beating. And it has to go through the flesh and the bone, so it has to be a really strong charge. And so it was actually, each heartbeat, it felt like lightning going into my chest, and I actually jerked my whole body. That's how strong it was. And I remember saying, "Lord, get this pain over as quick as you can." But with that, folks, the Lord is so great, I had no fear. And that wasn't natural. And that wasn't me. I was fully confident. As the word says, to live is Christ, to die is gain. And I truly believe that. But the Lord still took that fear away, gave me a total peace. And it's just, I can't describe it. But I just want to let you know, the Lord's always there. If you look back at that kind of the tapestry of that week, there were several things and timing there that if I would have done the normal thing, or my angel would have done the normal process, I'd be dead today. That's God working through her. And just know that that peace is there. I don't know why he brought me back. It wasn't my time. But just praise God. And I thank you to be able to share this today. God's faithful. Thank you.